Yo, what's good, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another Sistas review. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, then you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell somebody to tell somebody if you choose to. But if not, just sit back, relax while we get into this somewhat messy thing. Now, if you look at the thumbnail and you read the caption, you know that we're talking about ZATIMA and Sistas finally lining up within the storyline. And so I've had so much discussion from my last video that I put out, and then from what other content creators have put out when it comes to the interview that DeVal did, expressing how we're going to see ZAC go through a journey of grief come season 9. For the most part, people just speculated that it has to do with the loss of a baby, which could actually be. However, if the timelines line up with ZATIMA and Sistas, it also could be about the loss of his mom. Now, I know there are people who listen to me who do not watch ZATIMA. At the season finale, it was the ending of ZAC's mom's funeral. And he's processing it, going through his own emotional journey with that. And I'm wondering if everybody, for the most part, is completely off base and has nothing to do with the loss of a child, but it has everything to do with the loss of ZAC's mom. And whether you watch ZATIMA or not, on Sistas, ZAC has definitely made references to how his mom was. His mom was never really there for him and his brother. His mom was addicted to, all sorts of drugs. So she was never a constant presence in his life. And I'm wondering if that's what we're going to experience, because DeVal makes a statement of, how can ZAC miss something that he's honestly never had? And I'm thinking it has something to do with his mom. So for me, as a viewer, I'm always open to the possibilities of what things could be. Sometimes I don't believe things are always black and white, especially when you're dealing with sisters, okay? And when you're dealing with these writers, you just never know what angle that they're going to come from. However, I do believe that I would enjoy more the journey of seeing ZAC deal with and process his grief about his mom, because at the end of the day, she was still his mom. ZAC will go to war for his mom. ZAC went crazy on Fatima, okay? He went absolutely berserk on Fatima when he felt that she was saying something disrespectful about his mother. And so I would really love to see that journey, because I believe in season 8 they played in ZAC's face. I have not always been the biggest fan, and I'm not the biggest fan of that character, but I believe DeVal has enough within him to pull off whatever it is they need him to do emotionally, as far as him being vulnerable. And I just felt they made him a clown in season 8. They literally gave him nothing to do but to stare at that board, and I just believe he has more to offer than what they gave him in season 8. So if it's going to make his performance even more dynamic, that it's actually going to give him some meat and something to sink his teeth into, then I am looking forward to that. However, like I said, we really don't know what direction these writers are going into, but I would really enjoy to see that on screen about this black man journeying through life who has mommy issues for good reason, but has mommy issues, and how he can maneuver through that as he is becoming a new father yet again with Karen's child, and seeing how all of that comes together. That is going to be a lot of emotional turmoil, a lot of him dealing with assessing self. But I'm not getting too ahead of myself, because I know how these writers love to drop the ball. I don't care who's writing. That's what I want to see, but don't hold your breath, because we don't know how that's going to work out. But I do hope that we can start seeing somewhat of a closer timeline with ZATIMA and Sistas, because some of the things that some of the cast comes out and say, this does not make sense. We'll say, or we'll hear that ZATIMA is ahead of Sistas, which doesn't make sense to me, because we don't see Michael on Sistas. There is also no reference to Karen's child. Like, there's just nothing. So it's hard for me to believe that ZATIMA is ahead of Sistas, even though they try to, write it that way. But yeah, so we're gonna see what happens with that, and we're gonna see who's right. We're gonna see who's right. We're gonna see if it's because of the loss of a child. We're gonna see if it's ZAC journeying this moment of grief due to the loss of his mom. We're gonna see. So so we will see who is right at the end when season 9 premieres. I want to thank you guys for listening. Until next time, I will holler at y'all later, and y'all be safe out there. Bye.